everybody and welcome back to my channel. So I'm actually filming this video straight after another one. So if you've seen a video recently where I've been wearing like the exact same outfit, it's because it is the exact same day and I'm not getting changed just for YouTube. Because I don't really care that much. I mean, I do care about my channel, but I don't want to get changed. But today I'm going to be filming a what I read on holiday video, which is a bit different from what I was planning to do about the books I read this summer. I was just going to do one massive like thing at the end of the whole holiday, but I've decided because I read like 4 books on holiday, it would be better if I just talk about each of them separately, like talk about them in a separate video and then talk about ones I didn't read on holiday in another video that will come a bit later in this when the holidays are over. So yeah, I'm going to jump straight into it and talk about the books I read on holiday. They were all absolutely amazing, so I highly recommend all of them. So the first one I read is this one. It's called Things a Bright Girl Can Do and it's by Sally Nichols. You'll probably remember it from my summer reading list video. It's basically about 3 girls and their lives during around the time of 1914 to the end of the First World War, which I think is 1918. Just double check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 1918. So it's about all 3 girls have something to do with the suffragette movement. I'm really sorry if you can hear Ariana Grande because my sister's been playing her like non-stop today, which I mean I don't blame her, but I'm trying to film. One of the girls, she's really rich, she lives quite a sheltered life and she wants to go to university, so that's her sort of involvement and reason why she's involved in the suffragette movement. Another girl is May and her mother is like involved in it too, and it's just something she's been brought up around. And the final girl is oh my god, what is she called? I think she's called Nell, and she's just an amazing character. All these characters in this book are amazing, and she's just a really interesting character. First I wasn't too sure how I liked the book because it's splitted between the 3 characters, but as I got further through I really just loved how it was written and I enjoyed how all of the characters interrelated even if they didn't really know each other, and how it just all sort of worked. And also I loved how you could sort of relate it to nowadays, even though this was something that was happening so long ago, like 100 years ago. It's still so relevant today because although women now have got the vote, which is amazing and it is thanks to girls like the examples in this book, it isn't fully fair, and there's also themes that come through the book, I don't want to spoil anything, that relate to things that are happening nowadays. And I haven't really read many books to do with history, but I really enjoyed this, so I definitely think I'm going to be looking into more books about history and things like that. So yeah, I really recommend this, especially if you're interested in sort of history, and because it touches on the World War I as well, and votes and all things like that. Or just for anyone really, it's a really sort of eye-opening book, and as to the lengths people did go to let people like me and other women have the vote now. So the next book I read was The Couple Next Door, and I actually picked this up and read it because I saw that Molly was reading it, Beauty Spectrum. I'll link her channel down below, even though you probably all know her anyway. This book is by Sherry Lapina, and it wasn't actually in my summer reading list video, but it is one that I like. It's probably my favourite book I've read so far this summer. It was amazing. I read literally, obviously I was on holiday, so I read it quicker than usual anyway because I was just like reading a lot, but it was literally so good. I read it in like 2 days. I could have read it all in one sitting if I'd had the time. I think it was quite heavily inspired by the Madeleine McCann but it wasn't a copy, it was just, you could tell that inspiration was taken from it. But it was so gripping. Also, I love the front cover. I love the whole storyline, how you can guess like what's gonna happen but not too soon, so you don't know the whole way through, and then suddenly you're just like, what? Oh my god. Although I did sort of know for a lot of the way through, but there's just a point where it's just, it all just fits together in your head and you just suddenly understand it all, and I loved it. I definitely recommend it if you're interested in like crime books, which I definitely am. I don't know what to do with the book while I'm talking. It has other themes through it as well, which are really interesting, and it is also written from different people's points of view. So there's the neighbour, there's the there's the mother, there's the husband, and there's the police officer. And it's really I especially love the police officer thing because I found it quite interesting to see his thoughts and how he was looking into all of the different people who we also heard from, and how you could tell through different people's narratives if they really were telling the truth to the police officer. I recommend this book like 10 out of 10, 1,000, like 5 gold stars. It was amazing. So the next one that I read was The Special Ones by M. Bailey, which was in my original summer reading list book. This was weird. It wasn't quite what I expected it to be. And I spent like the first probably quarter of the book being like, oh, what is this I'm reading? But it's a really good book. It is really good. But it's basically about a cult. So now that I've told you that, you might understand it a bit more if you go to read it, because I wasn't sort of expecting that, and I was kind of like, what? But yeah, it was a good book. It was a really interesting sort of idea because it was obviously, it's living alongside nowadays, but in the cult, I think it was a cult, it was like a simpler life, and a life that maybe sort of reminded me a bit of the life that Anne with an E, if any of you watched that sort of setting and time that was like being lived alongside these people's real lives when they aren't in this cult. And this is a really hard sort of book to review, actually. I didn't really think about it enough before I came to talk about it on here, but I recommend it. At first, when I started reading it, I was like, I'm not recommending this, but now I'm like, yes, you should read this. It's so good. It was quite a quick read as well. As you can see, it's quite short, and it was easy to read, and it's just a good book. So the final book that I read whilst I was on holiday, except for the one I'm currently reading now, is Rose Rivers by Jacqueline Wilson. I'm sure you all know who Jacqueline Wilson is because she's amazing. I've been reading her books since I was like 8. I've met her twice. She's so lovely. But I always read them when they come out, even though they may be a bit young for me, but especially the Hetty Feather series. Hetty Feather is one of my all-time favourite books. I've reread it like so many times. Actually, comment down below if you'd like to see a top 10 or top 5 favourite book video, because that is something I'd love to film. I'll probably do it anyway, even if nobody says they want it. But this was another tale in the world of Hetty Feather, and it was about a rich girl whose dad was a painter, and she was sort of struggling as a young teenager. I think she's about 13. Her twin brother, has been sent off to boarding school, and she is struggling to understand why she, who wants to go there possibly more than him, isn't allowed, but it's because obviously at that time when this was set, like again, sort of the Victorian times, that wasn't expected or allowed for young girls. And she ends up making friends with one of the servants, who is Clover Moon from one of her previous books. And she suddenly realises that actually servants aren't happy, and what her and her family are like letting servants do everything for them is not really right. And it ends up quite sadly, really, but I liked it. And most of Jacqueline Wilson's books are about more poorer people, and it was really interesting to see a book written by her from the perspective of someone who wasn't as poor, and to see them relate to the poorer characters that she's previously created. So yeah, especially if you've read, I wouldn't really recommend this unless you've read the other Hetty Feather books, which I suggest you do. But if you have, and if you're a Jacqueline Wilson fan, and I recommend this book. Also, how pretty is the colour of the front cover. So thank you so much for watching. I definitely learned from that video that I should really think about the reviews of the books before I come to film the video. And also I should not film 2 videos in a row because my voice really hurts. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I'll be making more book videos in the future, and I'm really excited to do them because reading is something that is so important to me. So yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye!